Great. So good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Laziz. So as you know, my name's Jason, and I'm chair of the Scrutiny Panel. And shortly, everyone in the panel will introduce themselves very, very briefly. But what the aim of this panel essentially is to do is just get a few updates on what you've been doing, to see how best we can support you, and also just making sure that you do the best that you can be. So we want to motivate you, to inspire you, and make sure you achieve the most during your time as professor. So what I'll do is I'll pass over to the panel to introduce themselves. So Stevie, would you go first?
My name's Stevie. I'm a second year politics and international relations student. College president.
So your voice is breaking up, Stevie.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Yes, sorry.
Can everyone hear him? All right. Oh,
can you hear me now?
Just me. Yeah, I can hear now.
I'll pick the phone up. It might just be the standard it's on. But,
might be.
So I'm a second year. My name's Stevie. I'm a second year politics and international relations student, and president of the Labour Society.
Nice to meet you, Stevie.
So hi, my name is Titi, and I'm a master's student of engineering management, and I'm the vice president for the Nigerian Society. Nice to meet you, Laziz.
Nice to meet you, Titi, as well.
Hi, I'm Prem, a second year student of MBA International Business, and I'm the student representative of my course.
Nice to meet you, Prem.
Nice.
Great, thank you very much, everyone. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through all of your titles, and we're just going to go through them one by one, and then I'll give everyone an opportunity to ask any questions or for you to give an update as well. So we'll get started. So for the very first one, so you've titled it Business School, and you've said the aims are by 2024 April. You want the business school to start hosting at least 2 employability events by inviting external companies, and so forth. And you've detailed some of the work you've already done, and some of the next steps as well. Just to start this one off, does anyone from the panel have any questions at all with regards to this campaign?
I just wanted to ask, it's a fantastic step so far, and I like the campaign a lot, especially anything about employability. I'm always very, very key on that, because that's the part of the main reason why students come to school, so that when they finish, they will get something doing and stuff like that. But I want to ask, when do you plan on doing your first employability, and what companies are you having in mind to reach out to?
I've had meetings with a few companies, like Freelance Hub. I've mentioned it in my employability title as well. They're quite happy to the presentation for business school. So the aim is to introduce the industry, how it works there. Because I was part of a business school as well, and we didn't have many events like that. One of the events that we had was business breakfast, and that was only breakfast with our lecturers. And it wasn't really networking or getting to know other companies, how they operate, what to expect after you graduate. So my aim is to call some companies. So I had meeting, as I said, with Freelance Hub, that they are interested in doing presentation. So what they basically do is they give different projects. They provide different projects for students. And based on the subject that student studies, they can choose on a project and work on it, and even get paid for that project. So hopefully by November, they should have their first presentation for the business school.
Okay.
And Laziz, at least 2 employability event, is it during the entire academic year? It's just 2, or do you have any time frame for the 2?
This is going to be a continuous event, continuous campaign. This is not only for this year, this is for next year to come as well. I've spoken with Gary, who is the student success dean for the business school. He was quite happy for this campaign. He said we don't do much of events like this. So he said 2 for the beginning, and for the next coming years, we'll see how it goes.
Sorry, just off that question. So just to confirm, you're going to do 2 employability events for this whole academic year?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thank you. Stevie, did you have any questions at all?
I can't quite hear you still, Stevie, for some reason.
Maybe I'll connect to my laptop because I'm on my phone. But no, there's no further.
No questions here? Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Thank you.
Right. I'll just quickly pick up just a little bit as well. So you said so you want them to start hosting employability events. Is this going to be open to just business school students, or will this be open to students from across the university?
The company that I was talking about, Freelance Hub, it will be for every faculty. For every faculty. And
with relation
school,
to just this one about employability events?
As a lead for business school, I will host 2 more events for them.
Okay, so just to clarify, so because you're leading, you're like hosting for the business school, you're specifically going to do employability, those 2 employability events for business school students only.
For business school, but not limited to.
Not limited to, okay.
Yeah, I'm a lead for employability as well. That is yet to come in one of the titles.
Yeah,
and we'll speak about other faculties as well in there.
Great, thank you.
Nice.
I'd say something you should consider, and something we'd want to see at the next scrutiny panel meeting, is a little bit more in-depth planning. So obviously we know that you've got welcome weeks, you're quite busy, but we want to see evidence of when you discussed with the faculty, so meetings with the faculty, emails, how you sort of envisage the employability event to look like, what's the capacity of students, is it going to be like virtual, is it going to be on campus, whether you've spoken to, for example, room bookings or timetabling to find all of this stuff. So for the next meeting, if you could provide information like that, we'd really appreciate it.
All right.
As well. So going on to the next campaign is for the disabled students liaison. So I'm going to open that up to the panel for anyone who has any questions.
Sure, that's all right.
Just you said the facilities would be available from September 23. So are they now ready?
From September 2023?
Yeah.
Every Hill, the Every Hill one is ready, and the handover is on Friday. So the project manager is going to hand over the facility to us, and in the next meeting, I'm going to upload the evidence for that as well.
Also, I have a question. What budget do you have for the coffee event? What's the budget around it? And at the disability, for the hold on 1 minute.
Yeah, that's all right.
Are the disabled students also do they have a say on what event they want to have at that point? Because you mentioned in your hymn that it's a coffee event. Do they have a say on which type of event they want to have or something?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So the way disability chair is elected is through liberation. That has happened recently, I believe. And next week we have meeting with them. So I'll be meeting the disability liaison chair, and I will discuss the coffee morning with them. And possibly what I was thinking to do is to do coffee morning and reward them for coming for their time. Give them food voucher, or food voucher mainly. I was thinking of giving them food vouchers for coming to the coffee morning as well. And in the coffee morning itself, I will be discussing the problems they are facing as disabled students in the University of Greenwich, what they want from us officers, maybe better communication. It's to mainly discuss their problems they are facing and to have a little chat with them.
And Laziz, except the head of estates and facility operations, did you approach someone else who is more into this? We have a star outlet thingy in our uni. Did you try to contact
Sorry.
them?
Yeah, that's Helen Pierce. I didn't have a meeting with her yet, but I'm setting a meeting with her probably next week. Not next week, maybe next month after the welcome week.
Just to follow up on Prem's point, so he was speaking about START. So do you know much about the START scheme at the university? So like support for disabled students at all, is it?
No.
So something which I quite highly recommend. So it's run by someone called Dr. Melanie Fawley. And I'm happy to send you her email afterwards.
Yeah, that'd be
and so
great.
what she essentially aims to do is to provide a supportive sort of environment with sort of like buddying, mentoring for students who are from all the way from perspectives, so they're interested in coming to the university, all the way to post-graduation, so looking at employability and stuff. So students who have or identify and having a disability. So I say, especially with regards to events such as you've said a coffee morning, for inclusivity, I think that's quite a good opportunity to collaborate with her, especially because she's quite specialist. She has access to the majority of students who identify as disabled across the campuses as well. And especially following on from Titi's point as well, because it was a really good point as to whether the disabled students would actually like a coffee morning or whether they'd want something else. Did you have any statistics, for example? Have you done a survey to say, yeah, the disabled students would like a coffee morning? And similarly, okay, we'll start on that question and then I'll follow up for something else.
Okay, for previous years, they have done something like this and it was quite successful. So from historical point, I would say it was quite successful. But as I said, I'm meeting the chair, the disabled students chair next week, and I'll have discussion with him or her about this.
Yeah, with by quite successful, do you have any statistics? Like, for example, 100 students came and out of those 75% said they'd want to come to the event again, or do you have anything like that, or anything to back up the success at all?
From the previous years?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Great. If
I'll
possible,
probably bring it to the next scrutiny panel as an evidence that it was quite successful.
Great, perfect. That'll be really, really appreciated. And similarly, on the point of budget for lunch vouchers, coffees, and everything like that, if you could just formulate, even if it's just a rough plan, whether you, for example, decide to use University of Greenwich catering, whether you decide to use GSU outlets to provide this, we'd really appreciate if you could just bring that to the next meeting.
I'm planning to use my officer budget for that one. Every officer is given a budget of £960. So from that, I'll give them food vouchers, and for the catering, university will be providing.
Great. So if you just in the next meeting, just bring down a breakdown of the expenditure, what you forecast, and everything like that, we'd really appreciate to have a look at that. So I'm quickly going to move on to the next campaign, which is Students of Faith. So you've said that every faith space would meet the needs of students across all three campuses, that you're going to lobby the university for a timetabling gap. And you even did say that the handover of the Avery Hill prayer space is going to
on Friday. Yeah.
Great. Just quickly from the panel, does anyone have any questions at all?
So you said that you were meeting with the timetable team.
Sorry, Steve.
You said that you were meeting with the timetable team. Have you met?
Yeah, I've met Pete Taylor. We have discussed the possibility for the timetabling gap, and he said this is to discuss in the next meeting because he will bring timetabling team to the meeting. And he said it would be a bit tricky because we have big number of Muslim students in the university, and giving them a gap of 2 hours, 3 hours, it will be impossible. So I have considered another way to go, and if they could submit it, the prayer as a valid reason to miss the lecture or rewatch the lecture. Any more questions?
So with students of faith as well, so I can see there's quite a lot of consideration for sort of Islam as religion. Have you consulted any other faith groups on campus at all to see whether their needs are being met?
Not yet. That's to do in the welcome week. I'll be meeting faith groups in the welcome week, and I'll be discussing whatever they need. As I mentioned, every faith throughout all 3 campuses will meet the needs of every student of faith. So it doesn't include Islam only, it includes all the religions.
Great. So yeah, so I'd say for the next meeting, if you could also provide let's say, for example, communications with students of faith, whether you do a survey, for example, but just a bit of evidence, so that when you do decide to make your next steps, those are sort of based on data that you've collated. And welcome week's a great opportunity. So maybe if you could do that, if you have the capacity to quite quickly, you can circulate that, which would be quite good for your project as well. And just in terms of, so you said Pete, I presume that's Pete Taylor's going to discuss it in his next meeting.
Yeah, in the next meeting.
If you could, do you know when that meeting is?
No, he said he'll send me an invitation for that. I'm still waiting for him.
Yeah, I'd say just keep on top of it. So if you don't hear back from him, email him, find out when the meeting is, and then after that meeting, then you've got a little bit of time, hopefully before the next scrutiny panel, to give us an update and make some more progress on that as well. So going on to the next topic, in the interest of time, so you've spoken about employability and Freelance Hub. And you said you've had a meeting with Freelance Hub CEO, and you've had a really good discussion about that as well. Initially, I'd like to open it up. So does anyone from the panel have any questions at all?
I do. I want to ask, what's the difference between this particular aim and the one for the business school?
The one for business school, it won't be Freelance Hub only. There will be other companies as well during the presentation. For the employability, I've spoken with the employability team, Elena, and we had a meeting with Freelance Hub as well with her. And she said she's quite happy to put it for the Greenwich Employability Passport and give students points for every project that they do. So it helps them to make money as well, and it helps them for their employability in the long run.
Thanks. Can I just, sorry, I'm just gonna come off that. When completing the form, if you don't mind just adding that little bit more information. So for those of you who don't know, Elena Moreno is sort of head of employability at the university. So from what you wrote, we wouldn't have necessarily been able to infer that you had a meeting with her and the Freelance Hub CEO. If you just include that, that would just be really useful for
that's
when we're going through the documents. Does anyone have any other questions at all with relation to this particular campaign? Great. So yeah, I'd like to see some I'd like to see really good progress. It sounds like a really good idea as well. And especially if they were able to give Greenwich passport points as well. That's another incentive for students to get on board. As I keep providing this evidence, it might be quite good to do a survey, potentially ask the employability team to circulate it, because collaborating with them is a really good, they've got access to all students at the university, to be able to get quite a good amount of data from that to help inform your next decisions as well.
Sure. I'll bring that to the next panel.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Laziz. So just going on to our very final campaign, which is on sustainability, and you've spoken about a bike rental scheme, which you're hoping to introduce in the Greenwich campus. So yes, I'm going to open it up to the panel and see if anyone has any questions with regards to that.
I think I'll ask the same question about survey. Have you done any survey about how many students will like the bike idea, and how many students are going to end up actually using the bike when you end up collaborating? Not
yet. This is something to do next month. I'll have a meeting with sustainability lead, who is Simon. I'll have a meeting with him and discuss the possibility of it, if it is even possible. And the next step will be surveying students, how many students will be interested in renting a bike. And yeah, I'll provide it in the next panel, definitely as well.
Did you had a meeting or some thing with the companies which deal with these things? Because you have said that you have spoken to other officers about this.
Yes, they gave me some company names, but I want to consult with the sustainability team first to do a research on the company, if they are sustainable as well, because we don't want to collaborate with a company that is not sustainable. And then based on that, make a decision on which company to work with, to collaborate, to partner with.
Okay, since you have given the RAG point as this in progress, so that's why I was asking.
Thank you.
Great. In the premium, one of the panelists spoke about how the Royal Borough of Greenwich actually has a program with it. Stevie, would you like to discuss a little bit more about that? Sorry.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's all right. So essentially what Stevie said was that some the Royal Borough of Greenwich has like a program ongoing, so that their like employees will be able to access that. I'm just reading the full note. So it might actually be quite useful to get in touch with them, potentially through the Partnerships Hub. So the Partnerships Hub at the university are always looking to partner. So we've got really good relationships with even Dr. Martins, DNEL, Charlton, Athletic and Kent Cricket. So it might be good, or maybe a company might have already approached them. So potentially getting in touch with them to see whether you can leverage a bit of support with that as well, because that would be quite good. With regards to that. Perfect. So just as a final, does anyone from the panel have any questions with regards to any of the particular campaigns, or overall generally at all for this meeting? Great. So I presume not. Laziz, thank you very much for everything that you've provided. We know a lot of work goes into it, so we really do appreciate it. If you just don't mind working on those next few bits, making sure that you're able to provide evidence, whether that's in the forms of pictures, of screenshots, of emails, of meeting minute notes, for example, that would be really appreciated. A little bit more detail and depth in some areas, just for our benefit, just so that we can focus on just you getting the best out of you. And what we'll do is, after the panel, we'll sort of deliberate, and we'll share with you an update of our sort of view holistically of your progress on all the campaigns, and I'll be sharing an update in the upcoming trustee board, which is in November as well.
Sure. I'll definitely do that. I'll bring all the evidences in the next panel.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much, though. Thank you.
It was really nice meeting you all. Bye.
Thank you, Laziz. Bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Have a nice one. Bye. Take care.
Hey everyone. Oh no, we've lost you.
Yeah, but
Anyway, thank you all for your time so far. Let me just stop the recording there.